Going crabbing had been just what Pietro needed to clear his head. He wasn't sure what had caused him to start watching the news, but he certainly learned it wasn't good for him. He had been to Israel several times, and even had a menorah from Jerusalem, but was horrified at what was happening in Gaza. At a collapsing bridge, a very noisy, mean politician, and it was enough to make him mutter, "Maranatha, come quickly, Lord Jesus." On April 12, 2024, Pietro finally began his long-awaited study of Art Deco, and quickly found the style could not escape the dramatic social and economic forces of the time. Beginning around 1880, these modernist movements, including Impressionism as a response to the classical style then in vogue, and then Post-Impressionism, Symbolism, Fauvism, and other assorted isms. The Art Deco style originated in Paris in the 1920s and has influenced architecture and culture through the ages. In fact, the style's most famous artist, Tamara de Lempicka, is the focus of a current Broadway play. Emerging after World War I, Art Deco flourished globally throughout the 1920s and 1930s, influencing architecture, interior design, fashion, and visual arts. Characterized by geometric shapes, bold colors, and lavish ornamentation, Art Deco reflected a fascination with technology, luxury, and the exotic. Drawing inspiration from diverse sources such as ancient Egyptian motifs, Cubism, and the Machine Age, Art Deco sought to celebrate progress and optimism in the midst of rapid societal change. Fast forward to the collapse of the stock market in October 1929 and the protectionist Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act of 1930, leading to the Great Depression of the 1930s. However, starving artists had been a thing since the beginning of modernist styles like Impressionism, so art continued to develop. Nevertheless, the Great Depression had a significant impact on the Art Deco movement, shaping both its trajectory and expression. As the economic downturn gripped the world during the 1930s, Art Deco underwent a shift in tone and focus. While the movement initially flourished in the prosperous 1920s, characterized by opulence, luxury, and a celebration of modernity, the harsh realities of the Depression prompted a more subdued and restrained approach. This period saw a departure from the extravagant excesses of the Roaring Twenties, with Art Deco designs becoming more streamlined, functional, and economical. Artists and designers adapted to the austere times by incorporating simpler geometric forms, utilizing more affordable materials, and emphasizing practicality over ornamentation. Some of the characteristics of Art Deco include geometric shapes such as squares, rectangles, circles, and triangles, both as the main subjects and background elements. Sleek and streamlined forms, avoiding excessive detail or ornamentation. Simplify shapes and focus on clean lines to create a sense of modernity and sophistication. Vivid colors, including rich hues like deep blues, emerald greens, vibrant reds, and golden yellows, contrast bright colors with black or white accents for added visual impact. Luxurious materials such as polished metals, marble, lacquer, and exotic woods. Incorporate these elements into your compositions to convey a sense of luxury and opulence. Symmetry and balance. figurative and abstract elements, influence of technology and industry, with imagery inspired by modern machinery, skyscrapers, transportation, and other innovations of the era. You can't have art without artists. Romain de Tirtov, also known as Erte, 1892 to 1990, was born in Russia and destined to become a Russian naval officer, but he made his way to Paris. He did many things. He designed fashion for famous dancers, such as Gaby Deslys before her death from the Spanish flu of 1919, Mata Hari, and Irene Bordoni. He also helped design sets for Ben-Hur. But he is most well known for an illustration, Symphony in Black, depicting a somewhat stylized, tall, slender woman draped in black, holding a thin black dog on a leash. We reimagine it here. René Vincent, 1879 to 1936, was a famous illustrator who mostly focused on posters and book illustrations. He was an auto enthusiast, one of the first persons in France to be issued a driver's license, and one of the first persons to have a garage as part of his home. Tamara de Lempicka, 1898 to 1980, was a pioneering artist of the Art Deco era, known for her distinctive style and glamorous persona. Born in Poland in 1898, she rose to prominence in the 1920s and 1930s with her bold and sensual portraits that captured the essence of the modern age. Lempicka's paintings often featured sleek, elongated figures rendered with sharp lines and vivid colors, reflecting the influence of Cubism and the emerging Art Deco aesthetic. Her subjects ranged from aristocrats and celebrities to powerful women and self-portraits, exuding confidence and sophistication. Lempicka's art embodied the spirit of the Roaring Twenties with its emphasis on luxury, glamour, and sexual liberation. Despite facing personal and professional challenges, throughout her life she continued to produce provocative and influential works until her death in 1980, leaving behind a legacy as one of the most iconic artists of the 20th century. Epilogue. After the Lempicka series, Pietro felt he was done with Art Deco. He was really glad that he had taken it on. It was a great style to have in his toolbox. He smiled, remembering the Art Deco-inspired 1952 Electrolux vacuum cleaner his family had in the Brooklyn apartment when he was growing up. Onward. He wanted to illustrate another story or two. He had read that Winnie the Pooh had entered the public domain. He knew he had to be careful to avoid the Disney version, so no yellow bears with red t-shirts. But what about a female version of Pooh with pink fur and a green t-shirt? Pietro had also started some sketches for the creation story. He felt that animation would be crucial to a good portrayal, and those tools were not yet available to him at the scale that would be needed, but he could make a first pass. He thought of this as an opportunity to burn some of his animation credits. The end. Ahui ho, and may God bless.